Hello, everyone. Hope you are well on this Monday morning, Labor Day. I hope you have a relaxing day. Try to get in some relaxation, some downtime, if at all possible. Okay, get outside if you're able and get some fresh air. Treat yourself. Do what you want to do. Okay, if you can. Mrs. Dawg is currently standing in the garden doing some things out there. She's a worker bee, man. She's a worker. We will try to do a video on an update on our little garden, and should be on Mrs. Dog's channel. It should be later on today, so keep your eyes peeled for that. I have a link to her channel in the description of every video here, so if you haven't yet, check it out. We do appreciate it. All right. They can't handle the truth, and I'll go more into that and how this got me thinking about things. But first, just a couple of things I have to mention here. Uh, I've started paying with cash more here recently because we know that a cashless society is most likely happening. It's already happening, and I refuse to give in to that, at least for now. I mean, I'm paying a lot of things for cash, and it's really surprising how it befuddles people. The people who are taking your cash, and it's usually a younger person. I'm trying not to pick just on young people, okay? Excuse me, but it's usually a younger person that's taking the cash, and they are confused. It's like a lot of times they have to get change or they have to break open a new roll of coins. So when I get change back in coins, it's usually brand new. They look like new coins. So that's interesting. And sometimes they have to go get, more ones or fives or whatever. So and it holds up things, but I don't care. I mean, it takes time, but that's it. It's legal tender, man. Okay, I'm going to use it. But it's just interesting. We were at a restaurant and I paid with cash yesterday or the day before, I can't remember. But the young lady was confused on how I could leave a tip without that. I guess I could have just left it on the table, but I didn't think about it. I just was at the counter, and I didn't want to run back at the table, and who knows who would have grabbed it. So I gave her an extra, and hopefully she was able to apply it to the server, because it was good service. So, so I've noticed that, share what you're thinking or share if you're experiencing similar things. Masks, the mask wearing is increasing, which is very interesting. We're seeing people driving alone in vehicles wearing masks, which I think is very interesting to say the least. I won't go further with that here. Um, Mainstream media is ramping up the hype on a potential return of the health crisis. And I'm seeing that more and more. So it tells me that that's for a reason. Okay. So I think more is in the works when they're cooking up something else and it's coming. So let's keep our preparation going for that. I believe the next boogeyman is being prepared. Okay. I can try that. Okay. Can't handle the truth. I think a lot of people, and it's not just the younger generation, it's older people too, can't handle the truth of the times we are in. We are no longer in 2012. We're no longer in 2018. Okay. The reason that got me thinking is I was watching some videos this morning, and I like to watch this guy. He's called Cliff. He's a pastor, and he does these videos, usually short videos, where he is, and I don't know if he still does these days or not, but he would go to college campuses and spread the word of Jesus to college students, which is very interesting just in itself. And he gets in these debates with students or professors too. He'll take them on. But this guy, he is good. I mean, he always seems to have a comeback, And but he does it in a respectful, loving way, And he was talking to this one young lady that this video I was watching this morning. And the young lady said that she is offended. The video didn't describe exactly why, but she said she was offended by Jesus. And she said, "Don't you understand that I'm offended by Jesus? And people don't understand this." And Mr. Pastor Cliff's response was, "Oh, I totally get it. Let me just explain. I totally understand why you're offended, because just, an example of it is just a few years ago, when Mr. Trump was elected president, many college students on many campuses had to have crying rooms where they got upset and cried, so they had to get their emotions out and they needed help. Okay. Now, compare that to World War II, when my dad, this is him talking, he says, when my dad was 18 years old in Switzerland, and he's overlooking down in the valley, overlooking over the valley across the border at Panzer divisions lined up ready to go into Switzerland. Now, fortunate for his dad, Germans didn't go into Switzerland. Okay, Switzerland stayed neutral. However, that was on his mind. That's what he was dealing with, 18 years old. Okay. So, so by all means, I understand why in this culture, in this day and time, when something like that happens, when somebody gets elected that you don't agree with, oh my goodness, I need help. I need a room. I need some time to sort out my feelings. So it was quite a response. But anyway, I just had to share that. A different time that we are in too. But it got me thinking, how would people like that handle a real emergency? Now, a real national emergency, not just a local one where it's a flood where you are or whatever, which that's bad enough, okay, or a tornado, but a real national emergency. And it could be in many different for other reasons. I mean, it could be World War III. I mean, it could be a long-term power outage that covers many regions. It could be a massive cyber attack that takes out the internet, communications, cell phone, your GPS, and how would people handle it? Now, most of us are pretty well prepared. I think it would be difficult, it'd be uncomfortable, but I think most of us are in a better position uh, with our preparations, with our experience to navigate something like that, as opposed to many, not all, now I get it, many in the younger generation, and not even younger people, older people who just, are normie, or they're just head in the sand for the last years, and they're not prepared at all for anything. So many in the younger generation I know are and older. It's, it's not everybody, but many are very fragile. They're soft. They're down in their feelings. It's easy. They're easily offended. They have a lack of a frame of reference for history and what can happen and how history repeats itself. They're lacking in faith, or no faith, or very confused. Just about the basic things, right? So, and to a large part, even older folks, I mean, many of us have lost the skills of our ancestors. They didn't call it prepping back then. It was just life. Like, you had a stock of things, food, medicines, self-defense tools. Uh, Many nowadays think that tomatoes grow in a can at the store. So I knew yesterday we were in Athens. We went to Trader Joe's. If you have a Trader Joe's near you, you know what I'm talking about if you've been in one. I love the store, but we were in there yesterday, and student body of UGA's in session now, so it was filled. A lot of students, were wading through, trying to navigate the store. It was very busy. It was a Sunday, and just to watch them in their carefree. And I was probably similar in that age, but I believe we would have handled something, a true emergency, better for the most part. I like to think that the younger generation, the younger folks nowadays, would be able to adapt, after the initial shock of a real emergency, and be able to bounce back and be strong and get through something like that. But I don't really know. It's a good question, right? but many of them are walking around like, you know, like it's 2017 or 2018, and to them it probably is. They're not, if they're not keeping up with current events and just don't know what's going on, right? I mean, uh, apparently a budget's no problem. I mean, they're running through there all kinds of things, so it's very interesting. But many are just very easily offended. And what that does is it puts a lot of people on a footing to where, oh no, maybe I shouldn't say this or say that because I don't want to offend them. You know, I don't want to disagree. I don't want to say that. It might be too controversial, or it might be something they don't like, and I don't want that. I don't want to rock the boat. And even with our faith, our pastors talked about, you don't want to have a weak faith, and not be able to at least stand up to tests of your faith. And I think a lot of even pastors run into that. They don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to speak the truth or preach the truth, even though it is truth, and they don't want to, can't handle it, or don't want to handle it because they're afraid that too many people won't like hearing that. But I think they need to hear it. They need it. Uh, we all need it. But think about it. I mean, what could you do to better prepare? I don't know. Like I said, many of us are prepared, but think about something that would take away your devices, or the ability for them to work, like GPS. Do you have a real map? What if you can't go to the store for something? The automobile's not working. Cell phones aren't working. How do you keep up with things? Do you have a radio that's battery operated or solar operated, or can run on solar? It's there's a lot to think about. Do you have a bicycle? How about real books, a Bible, not just an app? How would you keep up with things? Do you have a list of phone numbers and names or addresses and things like that? Uh, and just the basic stuff. I know we talk about water and food and such as that, self-defense, but what about other things like board games, playing cards, things to pass the time, tools, your gloves, extra clothes. We're starting to go into fall and winter right now. We just don't know what's around the corner. And the truth of our faith that Jesus is our Savior, and let's not be afraid to offend others with that. It is truth. We know this. And it's okay when people ask questions, just be confident in your responses. And it doesn't take a Bible scholar or anything. You can just talk about your faith and how some of your experiences and how you feel. That's okay. That's all it takes sometimes. And be respectful and loving about it. That's what we're supposed to do, right? We can show through your actions as well. So these are just some things I was thinking about. I believe with a true disaster or emergency on a national scale, I think a lot of people would be in big time trouble, and that could affect us. So something to keep in mind as you keep preparing. But I will go to the verse, which is Matthew. Somebody had mentioned this in the comments, I believe. Or they may have emailed it to me. I can't even remember. But Matthew chapter 5, verses 11 and 12 says, "Blessed are you when others revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven. For so they persecuted the prophets who were before you." Amen. Just keep that in mind. I mean, when you're getting the arrows at you, just keep this in mind, that it's okay. It's okay. Keep the course. Stay the course. Stay firm. Stay firm and stand up. Okay? Share your thoughts. Have a good holiday. If you're working, stay safe. Or wherever you go, let's be safe out there. God bless you. I'll see you soon.